guys? Hope you're doing good today. This is Bama Jaybird Resale. I'm Josh, coming to you with another What Sold video as well as a new topic. The topic today that I want to talk to you about some and kind of get your feedback, I guess give you my 2 cents on the idea is based off of a question. And this was, I watched one of Mountain Man Treasure's videos recently and saw one of the comments. And I know that the person that was saying it was kind of meaning it tongue-in-cheek in a sense. But it still kind of sparks that feeling inside because there's so many that are negative toward the concept of reselling. And it leads me to this question, is it wrong to take a good deal that we know is going to make a really large profit? Are we obligated as resellers to tell a person at a yard sale, garage sale, flea market, whatever the case may be, are we obligated to let them know when an item that they're selling has a lot more value than what they have it priced at? And so we'll look at some ideas about that, some of the factors I think we need to consider in those situations. Hopefully we can come to, some kind of answer on that topic. So we'll look at that and some of the different factors I think that relate to that question and how we as resellers navigate this issue and try to still have integrity and do things right and treat people right. And also at the same time, be able to make a living, which is what we're trying to do, those of us that do it full time. So first of all, let's get into some sales. I had a great weekend. This is actually, I felt like a little bit slower weekend than I've had the last couple of weeks, but a pretty good weekend in sales. This 15 items going out for $546.53. Now, again, that is my gross sales. So the amount that I keep out of that's going to be, a decent amount less. But I don't have a tremendous amount of money wrapped up in the items that I'm selling today. I do have one item, my biggest seller as far as the total value of the sale that I paid up for. I paid $25 for. But the rest of this stuff, anywhere from almost nothing to maybe like $2, $4. There's an item I bought for $6. There's a pair that I've got, I think, $8 in, and we'll talk about that as we go. So the first item up, I've talked to y'all about these a few times. This is another denim skirt. This one is by Gloria Vanderbilt. Now, Gloria Vanderbilt is some mall brand. You find this in department stores. It's not the best brand ever, but Gloria Vanderbilt does sell. I learned this from Daily Refinement, listening to one of his videos, that Gloria Vanderbilt, at least according to what his research, was the most sold brand in denim for women's jeans. And so that kind of blew my mind because, I don't think of that as being something to go after. Now, here's the idea. It's not going to sell for big money. If you can't get it really cheap, you might as well leave it alone. But denim skirts tend to do pretty well. So this skirt, it didn't sell for big money this time. This was sold for $10. I never know exactly what they're going to bring. I just know that typically I have a lot of them that I go for $18 to $20, and I try to not spend over $4 or so on a denim skirt unless it's a terrific brand. If it's a really great brand, that changes everything. I mean, I had a Levi's brand denim skirt a while back, and I know you're thinking, Levi's, what's so special about that? But when's the last time you walked into a store and saw long, like the maxi style skirts that were denim and were made by Levi's? It just doesn't happen very often. And so I picked that up, and I think I sold that for like $50. So, there's some really good ones out there that are more rare that you don't find, even though it may not be the brand that pops in your mind that it's this fantastic brand, that have good profit potential. So anyway, sold that for $10. I had $2.50 in it. The next item on the list, this is something that we didn't pay anything for. A friend of ours just gave us some stuff that they were getting rid of. So I listed some of it. This is an Ann Taylor loft, just a popover style top, kind of like a peach color. It's really pretty. Something like my wife would probably wear, but it wasn't in her size. But this was $6 is all I got for this, but I had nothing in it. So whatever pays out to us on that item will be profit. And, it doesn't hang around if you price it low. It wasn't something I was going to get a lot of money for. I think I had it priced at like $11.99. And so someone sent us an offer of $6, and I just said, hey, let's just get rid of it. Next item. This is a button-down shirt. I thought this was so cool. This is a button-down by Stephen Land. You can see the name on it. So Stephen Land, it's like paisley, but it's also geometric. It's like almost like specs, and it's so colorful. It's a really cool shirt. It's got the clipped collar on it. This is a size large. I think it's about a 16.5, but it's a longer sleeve length, a 34-35. I've had this a little while. I had it priced up a little higher. I wound up taking an offer of $15 on this. I had about $5 in this. I got it at Goodwill, and just gave the basic price. It wasn't marked up or anything, so it's just the $4.99 shirt price at that time. And so, $4.99 into $15, that's not too bad. All right, next item. This next item is also a shirt. You'll notice, I've told y'all before, if you've watched some of my videos, I sell a lot of clothing and shoes and items that accessories. I have an easier time sourcing that stuff. I do like vintage items in clothing, as I've said before. I wish I could kind of move away from clothes eventually. It's not my favorite thing to source in general as far as large volumes of, but it's hard to pass up items that you can make money on. This is a Life is Good t-shirt. These aren't always huge money makers, but they sell pretty well. They're very popular. This one, I don't know if you can see, but through the bag, but it had a Jeep on it. Kind of see a little bit of it. Had a Jeep on this one. And it reads, "Enjoy the ride." So I thought this was a really nice Life is Good t-shirt. It is in that kind of army green color. It's also a 2XL. So remember, large sizes, like extra large sizes. I don't mean extra large as in like XL, but like, 2X, 3X. If you can find those types of sizes, like, the plus sizes in women's, or the big and tall department like for men, then you tend to get more sales of those items. So this I got $12 for. I gave $3 for it. Good profit on that again. Let's do one more. This is going to be a pair of pants. These are LL Bean. I won't be able to see these too good through the bag, but they're really simple. They're just like a stretch jersey knit, kind of like an athletic style in a way. Though I don't know if you'd really classify most LL Bean stuff. This is a little bit older as athletic, but nevertheless, very soft, very nice fabric. And these particular pants were a size large. I got $15 for these. I had $2.50 in them. And you'll notice this trend a lot when you watch my videos. Many of the clothing items that I buy, I get for about $2 or $2.50, sometimes less. I have some stores, some of these t-shirts I give 50 cents for when they're on like half off days. Most of the places t-shirts are $1 when they're not on half off, of course. So, you get a lot of good deals. And so when I sell something for $12 that I spend $1 for, I consider that a win. And that's the goal, of course, is to make money, which I think is a good segue into our question for today, which is it wrong? Okay. Is it wrong for me or you, if you're a reseller, or anyone else out there trying to earn a living by buying and reselling? Is it wrong for us to take a good deal in order to make money? And when we say take a good deal, I want to remind everyone of something. Prices, when we go to a yard sale, a garage sale, a flea market, in general, prices are set by the person selling the good. There are times, when we're asked to make an offer, and there's sales that we walk up on where nothing has a price, and prices just kind of materialize, out of the blue. You just, what do you want for this? What are you selling shirts for? What are you selling this for? And, we just go off of what the seller says. Now, if they price something to me at $5 that I know is worth $100, am I supposed to turn around and tell them, you're really going to sell this to me for $5? I mean, this is worth $100. Why wouldn't you ask more for it? I mean, my view is this. One, everyone has access to information. There may be some exceptions. I know there's some elderly folks that do not use cell phones, internet, that really just don't do that. I know that sounds archaic, but I have them in my family who wouldn't know how to Google something or look up a price on something for anything. And I'm not saying that we should take advantage of people. I mean, that's far be it from me to ever be guilty of taking advantage of someone. And I do think in certain circumstances, and I've done this, and I think most resellers have, when someone's just absolutely clueless and something is extremely valuable and they got it priced extremely low, there's times when, one, you don't try to negotiate or bundle. You don't try to get extra money off when you get ready to pay. And two, sometimes you just go ahead and kick in an extra $10, $15, $20 because based on the items that you are carrying out of that sale, you are going to make a huge profit. But that doesn't mean, I don't feel like, that I'm obligated to discuss the value of every item that I'm picking up. In most cases, at most sales, I do feel like people have at least some awareness that some things have more value than others. Do they sometimes misplace those ideas? Sure they do. I'll pass up items that I feel like are overpriced for me as a reseller that someone else coming into their yard sale probably snatch up because they can get it for the same price or less than they could buy it online. Therefore, they don't have to buy from me. I don't get that sale because I have to find that item at a much cheaper price in order to purchase it and then list it on eBay for resale. So again, prices are set by the seller. I think a lot of times in the end, that it all balances out for the person selling the goods. Even if they miss some things, our job in a lot of ways as resellers is to be educated enough, knowledgeable enough about the items we're looking for so that we can spot those few things, at each sale in most cases that have been overlooked, that they maybe didn't take time or didn't think maybe would have value. So they didn't put that extra effort into looking it up. And that's the score for us. If it wasn't for that, we couldn't make money. If everyone that ran a private sale looked up every single item and priced it, 80% of what it sells for online, there wouldn't be anything for us to buy at these sales, and we would have to find something else to do. So, and I mean, if that ever happens, I'm okay with that. I'll go back to the classroom. I'll go get another job. That's no big deal. But for right now, my goal is to earn a living. And so if the price is set by the seller, in most cases, I do not feel guilty paying that price. Now, do I feel like it's appropriate to negotiate a price for a good with a reseller that's already really cheap for that particular item based on what it's going to resell for? In most cases, I would say no, but you still got to look at your margins and your percentages. I think that's really important. So there's also, I would say this, there's different types of secondary markets, and that has a big influence on prices. I think one of the reasons why prices at garage sales and yard sales are often less than what we maybe see in a thrift store or something like that, or a flea market even, is because those people are selling those things firsthand. All the money goes directly to them. When we go to a flea market, oftentimes the people there have already been to, another location, a yard sale, thrift store, whatever, and found goods much like we do as resellers, right? And then they are reselling those items at the flea market, marking them up to make a profit. So we had to pay more, and they have a much better understanding of the value oftentimes because they're doing it for a living, or at least for a side income. So all that plays a role. And then the same thing, if we go to a thrift store and shop, the prices are generally even higher. But you got to look at the overhead. They're running a store. They got lots of employees. They're paying a lot more taxes. And so even though it may even be technically a non-profit organization, they're using the money they make to help people in society, so to speak. Nevertheless, those that work for them do have to earn a living. And so that explains price differences at those different secondary markets. Our job, no matter what the market is, yard sale, flea market, thrift store, whatever it is still to hunt out those items that fall through the cracks and try to find something we can make money on. Look, if it has to slip through the cracks to an extent, or at least if they're not selling it for a low enough price that we can make a profit, then we have no job. So again, I don't feel guilty about paying the price that's marked on an item, even when sometimes that may be a large gap between what I'm going to be able to sell it for. If it wasn't for those big scores like that, again, I couldn't make a living. So I'm thankful for those items that I'm able to do that with. And I never want to take advantage of anyone. I think most all the resellers that I am familiar with online, I mean, I don't like to use the word good people because, I'm a Christian and I think we should shy away from labeling ourselves as good based on what I've read in the Bible. But that being said, we have a lot of people that have integrity that I think are trying to do the right thing. I've seen several resellers, that could have made different decisions choose to give more money, in a certain situation to a particular seller. And like I said, I think we've all done that before when we feel like it's appropriate. But in most cases, just remember, I just hate when people make comments that try to make us feel guilty for trying to earn a living. And, anyone else that would have bought from the yard sale, they wouldn't be, saying something like that about. But for us, who are reselling the items, suddenly we're bad guys. All right, moving on with our sales for the week. It's probably enough about that. So this next item, this is a DVD. And again, this is a good example. I bought this technically at a yard sale, but this is a yard sale from a lady that buys storage units. And no doubt they sell some of the higher value items at higher prices, bigger items. But then a lot of the just scraps and leftovers and different things, they just put out and have like a yard sale out of it. They do that to earn, she does it for her income. That's her job. And so, I bought 2 tubs of CDs and DVDs from her that I knew were good. It was older music and she knows how to look stuff up. And she made me the price, $30 on it. $30 is actually a decent amount, but I got a ton of stuff. And I've already made my money back and started making profit. And I've only made 3 or 4 sales. I haven't even processed 95% of the stuff. So, but there's another one. This is, again, the group Rush. This is their R30 tour. This is 30th anniversary, of course, the world, getting tongue-tied. Their world tour. I have trouble with that word sometimes. But anyway, got $17 for this. I'm still going to do a video. I just haven't got around to it when I'm able to process all that stuff, where we can kind of look at what we've got in those versus what we are making. And we'll try to keep track of that at that point. But again, $17. And, if you want to say we got $1 in it, that'll be fine. But we probably don't even have, 10 cents in it. Next item. This is Duluth Trading Company. Now, you're really not going to be able to see these, but they're basically yoga pants, but they're capri length yoga pants. They're a navy blue color. Now, Duluth is a good brand. Duluth in the store is really expensive. I do think Duluth, the market on eBay, I think has started to flood out a little bit, and it's affected the reselling value of some of their items. Unique items still command a higher price, but there's a lot of stuff that just, they just don't sell as high as they used to, or as high as you would think based on their price in store. But those they call them Noga instead of yoga, N-O-G-A. So Noga capris, extra large. I got $17 for those, and I paid $2.50 again at one of my local thrift stores. Next item. So this is a Carhartt t-shirt, just a simple medium-sized long sleeve tee. This is red with the spell out across the chest, as you can see. The spell out on the chest. So Carhartt, again, kind of like Duluth, a really good brand for workwear and outdoor wear. It is very popular among working men. And so I always look at it, and I tend to pick it up if the price is right. I gave, I think it was $3 for that at my local thrift store here in town. And I got, $14.99 for the shirt. So that's not too bad. A long sleeve, regular old t-shirt, but by Carhartt, $3 into $15. I'll take that every day. Next item. This is a Nike pullover, this quarter zip. This is one of the lighter versions. You've probably, we're familiar, of course, with the hoodies, but this doesn't have a hood. This is like the running type pullover. So my son was a cross-country runner in high school, and so he had a lot of stuff like this. But anyway, these are very nice. It's dry fit. I've always liked the way they were designed. This is an extra large, so this is closer to my size than his size. He's a little guy. But I got $20 for this. I gave $4 for it. Really good profit. Again, these are kind of bread and butter sales, most of these clothing sales this week. This next item is actually pretty cool. This is a vintage item. I've got a few, I feel like kind of cooler items here. Before I do that, this is vintage. This is an LL Bean brown dress belt. It is a size 38. It is made in USA. I got $15 for this. I gave $4 for it. Easy pickup, easy sell. I'll take that all day long. Now, the next item. I've had this for a while. I bought these at the America's Thrift Store. This is a set of cars. It's 2 Fisher Price. So it's like, little kids in a way, but these are decent size. Just Fisher Price. They're called Shake and Go NASCARs. And I got these. There were only 4 drivers that in this series that they did these for. They did them for Tony Stewart, Earnhardt Jr., Jimmy Johnson, and Jeff Gordon. And so this, of course, is Gordon and Jr. And so 2 of the better, more popular, I think, drivers from that era. And so I grabbed them up. I forget what I gave for them now exactly, but I'm pretty sure it was $3.99 each, so about $8. I really thought I was going to probably get like $40 for these combined, and I kept waiting and waiting and waiting and waiting, hoping they would sell, and they just weren't selling. So I kept dropping the price. I eventually got the price down to $29.99, and then I was sending out offers. I usually go about $5 under, and so I'm assuming I sent out a $25 offer. I got countered back at $22. And I said, you know what, making money, I've had them for over a year, I'm going to let them go out the door. And so someone will be happy to get them, and I'm glad to get them out of the container and find something to replace them that maybe will sell faster for a little better profit. But cool item, nonetheless. All right, next item. This is new with tags, Ralph Lauren Estate Rib Sweater. Estate Rib Sweater, this is a large. Got $26 for this plus shipping, and I gave, what was it? I think about $12. This was priced up because it was new with tags. I got it at America's Thrift Store. I believe it was $11.99 is what I gave for this. It might have been $9.99, but I believe it was $11.99. So I didn't make an enormous profit on it. I more than doubled I say more than, after taxes and fees and all that stuff, I probably about doubled my money. So I'll take that. I mean, I would just assume make $12 off a t-shirt I give $1 for as to do this, but because this ties up more of my operation money. But I expected when I first bought this that I might be able to get closer to, 20, let me get this right, like $29.99 upwards of $39.99. So between $30 and $40 is where I would have probably expected, maybe listed at $39 and then expected to get a minimum of $30 for it. But, it's all right. Got 26, had 12 in it, and I'll take that all day long. So let's wrap up our topic a little bit. We were looking at or talking about, was it wrong to take a good deal and make money? And so, I think we probably could all agree as resellers that it's those, deals that we're looking for. It's those great treasures that have been overlooked, that we know we've got a score, that we know we're going to be able to really make a profit on. That's the most exciting part of doing this job. I mean, for me it is anyway. Maybe you get really enthused about wrapping stuff up in poly bags and boxes, and you love shipping. There's nothing wrong with that if you do. But I feel like it'd be hard to find a reseller that enjoys any other part of reselling more than the hunt for the treasures. That is the part that just gets us going. It gets those juices flowing. So one of the factors that I really wanted to look at in regards to this question is there an obligation to the seller on our part? Is there a point at which we have to speak up? And I think, maybe there's a boundary there somewhere. I think, one of the most important things in life, period, is to not only have a conscience, right? Sometimes I wonder in this world we live in if many people still have one, but to listen to that conscience. I would say if you're ever making a purchase and you're a reseller and for some reason you're feeling guilty about what you're doing, then you should probably take pause and think about, should I say something? Should I give more? What should I do? But if the seller's happy and you're happy and they want what they want and you're willing to give it and you don't feel bad, then I don't see where the big issue is. Now, the last thing, and I know I've already said this, is that our goal is to make a living. I wish people would remember that. We're not trying to steal from anybody. We're not trying to do anything wrong. I'm not trying to take advantage of anybody. I'm honestly trying to make a living. I have this discussion with the lady that manages our local thrift store, and I've told her, I said, when I first started this, I didn't realize the work that went into reselling. I didn't know how much time it was going to take me. And so, when I'm buying these items, some people think, well, you're buying that and reselling, she must be making a lot of money. And they think, well, you ought to have to pay up for this. If you're going to sell it for $15, you ought to pay $8 or $10 for it. Well, as you all know, if you do this for a hobby or for full time, it's impossible to pay that kind of price. We can't pay that kind of margin on something and still be able to make a living. And I told her, when I said before that there's different types of secondary markets, eBay is a different type of secondary market. I'm bringing this stuff home as you do, and we have to clean it. We have to photograph it. Sometimes, if it's clothing, you have to wash it, you have to pick it, you have to check for loose strings and fuzzball. You got to make it look as nice as you can to get the maximum profit out of it. You got to do spot removal, and then you got to steam it or iron it a lot of times, because even after washing and drying, sometimes it comes out not looking very presentable. And then you got to stage the item, and you got to take nice photos of the item, and you got to edit those photos or crop and do fills and all this different stuff. And then you got to come up with your listing. And even if you're doing sell similar, or if you're doing, copying another, it's still, it's a lot of time. It's a lot of time and a lot of work and a lot of energy on average. And I know some people have it down to science, and they really limit what they pick up so that they can maintain that productivity. But for a lot of us that sell everything, some things take little time and some things take much time. If it's electronics, you've got the testing phase. We invest a lot of time into getting these products ready to sell on our market through these online sales. And then we have fees that none of these others have to pay. We still have to pay taxes. There's a lot that goes into it. And so if the goal is to make a living, then there has to be a good profit left on the item. And, I'll walk away from things and I'll tell her, yeah, that's a good item. I'll tell this lady, and it's something I could resell, but at that price, I can't resell it and really justify the money that I'm spending on it. If I'm spending $12 to make $2, I'm not going anywhere. If I was Walmart and I was selling millions of items with that profit margin, I could make it make sense. But my little store, south of 1,000 items most of the time, I can't do that. And neither can most other resellers. So I do think the larger the operation gets and the more we scale up, if we can find good sources of inventory, even say in the clothing sector where we're selling for $10 and $12 and we're able to get it for, $5 and $6 max, even though the profit margin is small, once we've scaled up so large that we have people, I've seen people that do this, right? Huge reselling businesses and operations have multiple employees, and, they're selling hundreds of items a day. They make killer profits. I can see that. Let's take a look at our last few items. I think there's 3 left. So next on the list, I have a pair of New Balance. I thought these were awesome because, I'm an Alabama fan. Living here in Alabama, these are New Balance Energize. Really light, awesome pair of shoes. These are the Houndstooth, like the University of Alabama, like the old Bear Bryant era type stuff. And I think it was about $7.50 for those. They were on one of the 75% off days at the thrift store in Northport. And I sold those for $34. So $7 into $34. I'll take that all day long. This next item is a pair of Sorel boots. These are the Sorel Kaufman Superiors. They are made in Canada. These are vintage, but these were probably super high dollar boots at one time. They have the thick, heavy felt lining, and they're size 13. It's going to be hard to get all this in the camera, but you can kind of see it a little bit and see the felt, that heavy felt lining. I just thought these were awesome. They're in fantastic condition, almost like new. You see the size there. And so I paid up for these. I paid like $25 for these, but they sold for $60, $59.99. So I'll still make a good profit. But that's another good example. I've got $25 sitting there until they sell. Until they move, that's $25 tied up. And $25 at a yard sale, man, sometimes I can go a long way. You can buy a lot of inventory for $25. But I'll take that profit, 25 into 60. I'll still make at least, I think, maybe $20 off of those in profit. So, but notice I'm spending more money than what I'm making in profit off of them. I don't know that that's always the best business model, but I made $20, so I'll still take it. And the last item. Now, this was pretty awesome. I think this is just so cool. This time of year, of course, Christmas items are very popular. This is cloth teak. You'll notice, I think anyway, the McDonald's bag, the fries, the burger. So this is called Midnight Break. This is the Possible Dreams collection. That's a collaboration with McDonald's. This is from the 90s. So it is most assuredly, it's 1998. It's most assuredly vintage. And I got this for $6 at my local thrift store, and I listed it. I think I listed it for $59.99. I listed it, try to list it where it would move. Some have sold for upwards of $65 and $70, but there's not a ton of these out there. This was an international sale. It's going out to France, And this particular item I got, again, I sold for 50 bucks and I have $6 in it. So I thought it was a really good deal, and probably one of the coolest items that I've found in a while. It being that collab between McDonald's and then the Christmas Santa Claus sitting on the chimney. I just thought it was awesome. So, all right, guys, it's been great. I hope if you haven't already subscribed that you'll take time to subscribe to my channel. Go ahead and hit that like button and leave a comment. Tell me what you think about this question. Is it wrong to take a good deal and make money when you're a reseller? Why do we have to feel guilty? Why do people want us to feel bad? I don't understand it. You know, maybe we can help. We can figure this out. Maybe you can help me figure this out. So tell me what you think. Leave your comments and I'll try to respond. So have a great one, guys. I love you. God loves you even more. Take care. And guys, you just hang in there.